I'm Beth Wuller. I'm the founder and chief intention officer of New Groove. We help the world hurt less and love more by helping the world heal one soul at a time.
I'm Keith Ruffner. I'm an author, and my support of Beth's company, New Groove, has been to write a children's book to help children and adults learn to express and communicate their feelings more effectively, starting at a young age. And we're hopeful that this is a multi-generational impact to children and the people who love and care for children. So we've got 5 strategies for how we promote and maintain our own mental health. And the first one is through human and animal support. And I think this goes for both of us together. We both find this a helpful strategy for us. For me, I have found a lot of joy and happiness at my new position working at the zoo. I work with a really great, inclusive, and supportive group of people. They've become work friends, and so I've never had that at another place I've worked before, so that's been really great. I spend the majority of my time outside, so I'm around the animals. I'm outdoors. I get to talk to guests, and I'm having really good and deep conversations with guests about a variety of things. And so it's not just surface level, and that's something that really helps me and supports my mental health.
And of course, if you don't know already, you'll know soon enough. I've had rabbits since I was age 7, and they have been wonderful, magical little healers for me all of my life. And super happy to introduce you to 3 of them in the book that Keith wrote called Making Friends with Feelings.
So our second strategy for promoting our own mental health and supporting ourselves is being aware and observing our inner dialogue.
And for me, how this plays out is I ask myself, is this a helpful or a hurtful thought? Maybe it's just my perception, or is it even true? So you kind of have to challenge your own thinking, which some kind of can be difficult to do. But really, if you think about is what your current thought on something happening is coming from your true self or your false self. So is it from your false self that's trying to protect you, or is it from your true self that's coming from a place of love? It's just really a good way of thinking about in evaluating really what your thoughts are and if they're doing you harm or if they're helping you. And then I would also suggest that what we do is really look for ways to reframe some of our negative thoughts and do that with a spirit of self-compassion.
And this is something I've worked on a lot through my therapy. And so I think having a compassionate inner voice to yourself is really important. And so that's something we just have to practice a lot. So our third strategy is having some quiet time to reflect and learning ways to self-soothe. And these could be anything from journaling, yoga, meditation, reading, and just having some time for personal reflection. And I found that journaling has been really helpful for me, and just writing things down. And sometimes it's easier for me to write my thoughts down than it is to speak them aloud. I still and sometimes don't feel safe to say some things out loud. And so even with my therapist, I will write things down and I will send her notes from my journal and say, these are the things I would like to talk about, because I've noticed that even if I'm prepared and I get to therapy, that I just don't feel comfortable bringing them up. So writing has been a really great thing for me. I'm able to express lots of love to Beth through our cards that we give each other on special occasions. And looking back at the book that we wrote, Making Friends with Feelings, I find myself in a lot of the characters in the book. And so that's been a good opportunity for me to have some self-reflection and some self-compassion of looking at the characters in the book and thinking, I did struggle with that, and this is how they helped each other come through it. And so it's been really good for me.
Our fourth strategy for taking care of ourselves and our mental health and wellness is actually something I like to call the 3 Ps, which is patience, persistence, and practice. So be kind to yourself. Expect that you're going to slip up or have a setback. That's very normal. Whatever you're trying to unlearn is going to take much longer than how long it took you to learn something, and how your unhealthy thought patterns or unhealthy behavior choices, unlearning those is much harder than the first time you learned them. So I would suggest staying focused on your intention toward healing, and accept that it's really never as smooth or quick to happen as any of us would like, but it's important to keep trying, and again, have patience for yourself and grace for yourself, and keep going, and look at it as a form of something you need to practice for as long as it takes until you feel better.
Yeah, and the other thing is it's super helpful to have a partner who has that patience and can remind you to be persistent and to continue to practice. And so that's super helpful to have somebody, when you're struggling a little bit with those things, and even just changing up small words like making a mistake. Maybe he's just saying, I made a misstep, and so having somebody to help you through that is really great. And our fifth one is just medication and therapy. I would say that, medication isn't for everybody. If you have a professional and they suggest it, be open, be willing to take advice from others who are professionals. But it's not a standalone. I think for me that the medication really helped me to get to the point to where the therapy was helping. And so in tandem, I think they've been great for me. So medication and therapy both has been really good.
And I've been on antidepressants for quite a long time before it was popular. And so for me, it just kind of gives some clarity to your perspective. It doesn't really change your thoughts or even your mood. It just kind of evens you out a little bit. So you can kind of take the world's struggles on with a little more, just a clear mind. And so you're not overreacting to a lot of things. That's what I tell people, what the medication has had an effect on me. And I've also been in therapy for, since I was 20. So that's a couple years. Anyways, but we do support both of those as possible solutions or strategies to help achieve mental health and wellness for yourself or for anyone you love.
So these are our 5 strategies, and we're always open and looking for other things that help us. But these are 5 that we use on a regular basis.
So thanks for asking. We appreciate the opportunity to talk to people that are interested in learning about how to keep themselves healthy and well, both physically and mentally.